are you today? Welcome back to Dames and Dorks this Thursday. How is everybody today? We have a good show for y'all today. Today we have our special guest, our amazing friend. Emphasis on special. We have 3PO. How are you, Jay?
Special. I'm doing special. Doing good.
Oh, is it a special day for you to hang out here?
It's awesome. Thanks for the invite. I'm glad I had time to do this today. I appreciate it.
Good. No, thanks so much for hanging out with us and accommodating our special time so we can make it for a special event later on. And that being
I feel uncomfortable now that you keep saying that word over and over.
We're just going to throw in special everywhere tonight.
Well, it is a special treat to have you here on Dames and Dorks with us today. But yes, I'm going to go ahead and ride on that special train for a while. See, you're not alone. So you have a friend. But yes, thank you so much for everybody hanging out with us today. We are going to go around the horn. Lily, how are you today, hun?
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to get into all the acolyte stuff. Like, it's just week after week. I never know if it's going to get worse, and then it just ends up getting even more terrible than I thought. Oh my gosh. So yeah. And I'm excited because we have Jay here. Yay!
Oh, thank you.
Dr. Rachel, how are you, honey?
I'm good. I've been battling something going around the past more than a week now. So I'm just getting back the use of my voice. It's been muted and gross for about a week now, but I'm feeling better, trying to get back into some art. I'm doing some artwork commission stuff for people. I'm also working on I'm not caught up with the Star Wars stuff, so I'm jumping on board with this stream, but I've been keeping up with House of the Dragon, been loving that. And so my next art project is making a few of the eggs from the show. So I'll be doing videos on that.
No, I remember last week you said that they're going to be making the egg. So I've been waiting to see how they come out on your future video.
Been trying to plan out how to do it, how best to do it. It's going to be balloons and paper mache for all you people who remember all those wonderful crafts as a kid. And then just making foam scales and gluing them on and painting them. So they'll be nice and light, easy to carry.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to see that. That's always so exciting.
It's going to be good.
Dude, for real. And then Smu the DJ, our resident dork here, how are you?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you for asking.
Yeah,
glad to be here. Thursday, my favorite day of the week. Let's go.
Wait, what's that accent? Is that an accent?
Kind of, sort of.
From...
I'm from Germany originally, but I'm half Scottish, so I was raised bilingual, and that's why this little unique accent.
You were raised by wolves in Germany, but you're Scottish. I got it.
Raised by Scottish wolves.
Sounds
or bears. I don't know what Scotland has.
With the American flag in the back.
Yeah,
because I need to actually move to America at some point. And that's why I'm trying to work on my patriotism a little bit.
You need a McDonald's bag or something back, like Bucky's, a Bucky shirt. And then that's more American than the flag right now.
That is true. Yeah.
True.
Yeah. Soon he'll be he'll be one of us. So we're gonna get him the whole get up and everything, the Bucky's hat and stuff, and you're gonna take him to Texas where. We're going to take them to that grocery store, HEB, because that is the grocery store Texans go to. Yes. We're going to go ahead and say hi to the chat. We got Miko here. Hello. How's it going? And then we got Retro Collective. Nice to see you. Phil, how nice to see you. It's always nice to see you here. And then Tracy Reeves. Man, we got a full house today with our guests or our chat today. We got Roman of the Empire. I like to call him the internet dad. He is a real one. Risky for a biscuit. Always nice to see you here. Psychotic Mongoose. Nice to see you here, my guy. And then Shadow. We got Shadow of Hawk here hanging out. And then someone, some sweet cool girl here.
You should definitely ban her. She's
oh man, I don't know. Debatable. Nah, she's cool in my books. JR Studio or J-Ro Studios. Hey, hi, nice to see you, J-Ro Studios. Nice to see you. Yes, man, we got a lot of good people here hanging out, and it looks like we're ready to talk about the topics. Oh my gosh. It's been a week, guys. It's been more than a week that the barnyard explosion known as the Acolyte came out, and Lily and Jay, you guys have been getting the heat of it all.
Well,
I guess.
Kind of. I'm like, I don't think it's been as bad as a Star Wars theory. I think Jay and I are just mostly victims of, engagement theft, but that's about it.
I think, Lily, wasn't it you? Like, I sent you people were taking our screenshots.
Yes.
They wouldn't even give us engagement where I could get the sun.
No.
It's like, I was like, give us engagement so I can get paid on Twitter. What
exactly.
The I'm not gonna block you. I can use that money.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm like, come on, guys, we're trying to get paid over here off of Disney's failures. Let us get paid. Stop stealing our tweets.
Crazy.
I'm like, we're watching you. I can see you guys when you're stealing our tweets.
It's like they would screenshot us and then they would tweet that out. Because I guess they didn't want us to find it. They thought like we were big scary people, and like, I don't know.
I mean, you're not big and scary.
No.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what goes on to their minds, but I wanted to ask you guys, how does it feel to see like your tweets are being screenshotted and you guys' names and pictures are being cropped out for the sake of their engagement versus yours? Does it like make you feel weird or anything?
Nah, I'm used to it. It happens all the time. I haven't been on Twitter in like, I don't think I've tweeted anything in like 3 weeks now.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's just like, it's whatever. I get more crap about Gina Carano than I do anything else. So still, it's crazy. So anytime she tweets something out, like people like try to like they go in my DMs and like
my God,
like trying to get to her. Yeah, it's ugly.
Really? So. I bet. Yeah, it's like annoying as hell. I bet.
Oh man.
Some of it's funny because like I'll screenshot it and send them to like my friends. I was like, look at this. I almost said a bad word. I was like, look at this person right here.
Look at this special person. His name is Jay. Oh, wait. Can you believe it? Look at his dumb little mug. Oh, wait. It's just my reflection on my phone.
This is the dumbest part of it all is that they send you these messages as if you're going to care. Like, honestly, I had never started getting any weird messages until the Acolyte. So when I got my first one, I was like, oh my gosh, I made it.
I partially blame Gary for that one.
I made it as an internet celebrity. I got weird DMs.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. I mean, Lily is kind of internet famous now, thanks to certain YouTubers, right?
What's up?
Yes.
I know.
I'm like, thank you guys for encouraging all of my bad behavior on Twitter. You know who you are, Jay. You're one of them.
But yes, no. We're gonna go ahead and go into like our first topic. Well, obviously, we're talking about the Acolyte, but we have like an article here about it's not going too well with it. In 3 weeks, the Acolyte has more audience reviews than the 3 seasons of the Mandalorian.
Yeah, so this article, they're trying to tell us that this is their evidence for review bombing, is that it has this many more, I guess, reviews in general, not just negative, but reviews in general than any other Star Wars TV show that they've put out. So this is kind of like their evidence that you see, guys, we're right. It's being review bombed because none of the other shows had this many like people reviewing it. And then I think if you scroll a little bit down, it actually shows you the the numbers on the article.
Oh, dang.
There you go.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah. So according to their research, the Acolyte has over 25,000 reviews, and then followed up by the Mandalorian 17,500, which I don't know.
Seems a bit suspicious.
Yeah, it's a little bit too close to the Mandalorian, which people actually really enjoyed. And the Acolyte is something that I think everyone had been anticipating for the past couple of years. So I think it makes sense to me that people are actually watching it. I don't think it's just hate watching. People are genuinely curious out of all of the things that they've been telling us to see what they actually put out. Because in my opinion, I don't even really think they talked about the show a lot. They just kept telling us about diversity, inclusion. Come watch our show, guys. We have strong, independent women. So I think
Yeah, I also think when people like when it's coming from like Lucasfilm or someone saying, yeah, it's review bombed, I think it triggers more people to go review the show. Because they're just like, well, then I'll give my honest opinion that it sucks, you know, and like it's crazy, you know. Who knows? I think there's review bombing on what
Both
a lot of
sides.
people don't talk about, like both sides. Like there's people that will go there and give it 5 stars just because they really like it and they're mad that people that don't like it. So it works on both sides. But listen, this show has been doomed from day one. I mean, they went as soon as the first teaser trailer came out, it was, you know, the ratio of the thumbs down was massive.
Yeah.
But I mean, like their complaints are really stupid because if you go to Rotten Tomatoes, like Rogue One that has a female lead, it's not as bad as this. So it's actually quite favorable, you know. So where was all the review bombing from toxic Star Wars fans for that movie?
Yeah,
You know.
Yeah, I was wondering about that too.
And if you want to talk about racism, what about Black Panther? How come that wasn't like ratioed? You know, if it was all racists doing it, it's not. It's looked at quite favorable, and there was no like, where's the review? I mean, it's a silly thing, you know. That anything that's negative, they pass the blame to. I always say it's like the original sin, you know, when y'all women bit the apple first. And then you made the man do it in the Bible. And then when God said, hey, what are you doing down there, buddy? And the guy's like, Adam's like, she made me do it. And then the lady's like,
pointing fingers like
that
that.
snake made me do it. So it was like passing the blame. That's all these people do is they constantly pass the blame. They're like, well, it's toxic people that don't like it. Oh, it's review bombing. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. It's never them. They're like, they never look at it and go, yeah, we might have messed up here. Maybe we'll do better. It's never like that. Crazy.
What really surprises me is that they haven't carted out Ewan McGregor or Simon Pegg to do defense for the Amanda chick yet, because they did it with Moses Ingram. They were very quick to do that to shut down the racism. So I'm kind of surprised they haven't done that with that show yet.
Well, I mean,
had it with Alamanda. What's her name?
Amanda Stenberg.
Amanda, yeah.
She did put out her little diss track, so I think no one needs to defend her. She came out and defended herself with her little cringe diss track. That was pretty bad.
I mean, it shows that she recorded that song in 72 hours and made a video out of it. I'm just saying.
Before we continue, we also have, and I think it'd be perfect that we have this next panelist joining us, our resident lawyer, Sevvy. Hi, Sevvy.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, Sevvy.
How are you guys?
Hey, Sevvy.
Good. Thanks for joining us. We're actually talking about the Acolyte, and I guess like there's potential lawsuits. It's like, oh, let's get a lawyer's perspective on it too. So, yeah, it's good. I'm happy that you're joining us so we can hear on, you know, what to expect, I guess.
Yeah, great timing.
Yes.
But yeah, no, not only does this is the thing that Lucasfilm, Disney will never admit that they actually did something wrong because they have all their little bot accounts and all their little shill accounts. They're the ones that are coming in and doing all their little dirty work for them. I mean, now that I've been seeing it in my tweets, it's all these really weird people that just come in and tell you that you're this and that just because you don't like the show or you're actually critiquing it honestly. I've been trying not to just troll it. I've been trying to actually, you know, give somewhat of a good perspective on it. It's just kind of hard to do so when the dialogue is really silly, what you're seeing is really stupid, the story doesn't make any sense. Like how do they expect me to genuinely like this? I don't, when there's so much other stuff out there that you can be watching that's 10 times better than this, like House of the Dragon.
Yeah. And then I know, Dr. Rachel, you started watching House of the Dragon too. And what are your thoughts so far on it?
So far, I loved it. So I didn't watch season 1 when it came out. I actually waited right before season 2 dropped to like binge season 1, and I, excuse me, I absolutely loved it. So just like going through this season now, like we sit down every Sunday late at night to watch, and I'm really enjoying it. I thought this episode, this past episode week was a little bit slow just in terms of story. I'm all for it when, you know, like the story's a little bit slower, you get more in-depth character stuff. I like that, but this episode just wasn't there for me totally. I still enjoyed it, just wasn't completely on board. But I know the show is going to be great. I can tell where it's going. So I'm really looking forward to it. Like Lily said, you know, you have these shows like House of the Dragon that have good character work. They have good writing. They keep consistent with canon and with lore. They get audiences on board. They actually like listen to criticism, and they clearly have people working on the show that really love what they're doing and love what they're making. And then you have The Acolyte, which has absolutely none of that. So it's tough to as hard as you try, it's tough to give like positive reviews of something. Yeah, some boxes are checked, but that doesn't automatically make something good.
Correct.
In fact, it usually makes something bad because you're so busy checking boxes that you miss everything else, like good writing and audience viewership and character work, acting, you know, consistency. You miss all these other things that are good for telling a story. So I'm just glad we have something like House of the Dragon to fill that void in current TV. And
it is a good counterbalance.
It really is like going from one show to the other. So I'm sorry to everyone who's watching The Acolyte and has to put up with it. I have not watched a drop of Star Wars for a very long time. So all I do is just like
Come
see
on,
Twitter,
why not?
everyone
It's
going
hilarious.
Yeah,
It's hilarious.
it's the greatest comedy in this generation.
Don't you see how people are getting haircuts now? Come on.
Oh yeah. I feel like I'm already watching the best parts because people do like they make clips of the best parts of the show, like the haircut, and then they post on Twitter. So I get all the best clips.
I'll be honest, I would never let a lightsaber near my head.
With the best lightsaber battle that we can't even see. There's like 20 million
Oh,
views.
totally.
Like, oh my gosh. Yeah.
Can I just say that Smilo Ren looks like an anime villain reject from a live action show that never came out? That helmet looks like suspiciously like anime, but like terribly adapted live action, like some Netflix reject or something like that. It looks terrible.
The bad thing is that I think the majority of people already knew who that was too. I had my suspicions during episode 2 just because they introduced this like I guess apothecary guy randomly out of nowhere, and I was like, what? Who's this? So he just kind of like hangs out with her, like, huh? So that got me suspicious, and then everybody started having kind of like their what they thought was gonna happen, and yeah, it turned out that it was that guy. How weird.
And
I mean, go ahead.
Go ahead, Smu.
I mean, I suffered through Kenobi, and I thought it couldn't get any worse than that. And that's saying something. I mean, have you seen the Leia chase scene when Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers was chasing that little girl through the forest? I was like, that's ridiculous. Nobody would walk that way and that slowly just to catch a child.
I'm just like, how do they watch that and go and say, yeah, this is fine. You know, we can just put that through. Exactly, like that chase scene. I thought the Book of Boba Fett is still, in my opinion, the worst Star Wars show they've ever put out. It did absolutely nothing but make Luke look worse, like he's a bad teacher, and that they put that little baby Yoda back with Mando because they didn't know what else to do. So they literally made a TV show with Boba Fett just to do that. It really did absolutely nothing. There was nothing happening in that show. And then, you know, now we have The Acolyte, which The Acolyte started off wrong. I don't know who is in charge of their marketing. I don't know who it's terrible. Like the very first article to come out was from, you guys probably don't know this, was from or maybe you do this. Amandla, she came out and said, we finally made a Star Wars show where black nerds can feel safe. And I'm like, what kind of marketing is that? Like what? Like that makes no sense. Like who did they feel unsafe? Like how many years has this been? Like what does that even mean? And she couldn't explain it in the article. And you're like, okay, well, you're setting us up. And then, you know, just recently that whole Star Wars is gay kind of thing. And you're like, well, that's nice. And there's that. So it's like, what you don't tell us anything about the show. You just tell us like what it like, who it's gonna like, who are the people that are gonna enjoy it, right? Safe Black nerds, LGBTQ, things like that. But you don't tell us anything. So then by the time the teaser trailer comes out, people are already turned off. And they're like, this is going to be another one of those, right? Another one of those shows with messaging or whatever. And people have already made their minds up before they even watch it. So they go downvote it to try to at least give Star Wars a message. Like, this ain't what we want. This ain't it. You know, like this ain't it. And it just seems like they just totally ignore it. And they just continue to like say, we're just going to make it worse. But we don't care. You know, it's so, to me, it's like a comedy. Because like you said, like you didn't think it could get any worse. And then episode 3 hit with those witches singing a song, and like you're just like, I can't believe this is real.
You'd see this in a Robot Chicken parody or something like that, right?
I just can't believe it's real. And then like if you say anything, so then Twitter gets like, it gets all hypersensitive. Like I think what happens is, I think the acolyte gets into the algorithm of social media. So anytime you do a video on it or tweet about it or put it on Insta or wherever your social media, it automatically will pick up traction. You know, I've had tweets like that one tweet I did about Keanu Monday, what I call them. I think it's like over 2 million impressions. Like that's crazy, right? Like that's crazy. But it's people that hate that I posted it and people that laugh that I posted it. So it's, you know, and every time someone like sent me a hate message, I always responded until I just got bored. I just like, I really like you. And they respond.
You totally
like,
would.
huh?
I love it.
I always just type that. I always go, you know, like even in YouTube when they're like, you're a hate Yahtzee, blah, 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 blah. And I go, I really like you, whatever their name is, right? And like their next response is, you're weird. I'm like, it's true though. I really like you. I like you. I like your vibe. They don't know what to do with that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like that director from the Rey movie coming out that saying that she would ignore all the criticism from the Star Wars fandom.
I know.
And I'm thinking to myself, like, you get all this crap flung at you, all the criticism, and you're not even listening to it. Like, every normal person would say, like, well, okay, we effed up, so let's improve this again. Instead of being like so freaking tone deaf all the time and repeating the same thing over and over again. It's like the sole definition of insanity, isn't it? So I don't get it.
It's wild, man. But
yeah, it is crazy. It's because I think that's another thing too, is that's why you get so much engagement, because you have all the people that first come in and everyone's like, yeah, I agree with you and this is so stupid. But then it starts to really get out at a lot of people, and then all the weirdos start to come in and you're just hate watching it and you're this and you're that and you're racist and you're whatever. And it's like, okay, like my response to them, I'm going to try your approach next. But my response is usually like, well, thank you for the engagement. Like,
I just get weird. Like I start flirting. You know, it's like, man, your eyes look really cool in your avatar. Is that real?
That's a special kind of engagement you do, Jay.
It's like they usually leave or they delete their comment and run. They're like, okay, this guy's weird. I find it fun. To me, that is prime entertainment. Like I love that stuff.
It is. It really is.
I love that because you can't take. There are too many people, and I remember being that way. That get really like it messes up their day, right? And I totally get it. You're passionate about a project. There's things that we absolutely loved growing up. For me, it was more Indiana Jones than it was Star Wars, and it was, you know, that was a huge pivot in my life after the last Indiana Jones film, where I left the theater angry. Like I don't know if you saw the movie, but I'm gonna spoil it. Whatever. Yeah. There's a scene at the very end where the lady punches Indiana Jones in the face and knocks him out, and it's like, you know, and she saves his marriage, she saves his life, she saves everything about Indiana Jones in 5 minutes, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like it just made me upset because for all of us that have a franchise or an IP that we love, we spend a lot of time in them, and we get to know these characters because we've read the books, We talked about them. We understand like their manner. Like we know these characters better than they know the characters. And then like when we see them like literally like abused like online, like on the screen from a corporation that doesn't know these characters at all, you know, and it's like you know, it gets people upset. That was like the big one for me. I remember calling right when the theater was done. I was like, I didn't even do a movie review because I was like, this was the last IP that they have other than Pirates of the Caribbean that they had to ruin, right? They still have Pirates of the Caribbean out there, which seems like that's on its way. Other than that, there really wasn't anything else that they could really mess up unless they somehow get another Back to the Future film out there or something. But
I hope they don't.
I remember calling my friend X-Wing and I just said, you know what? I think it's time we just do our own thing. You know, like let's just write our own stories and have fun with it, and like what it used to be with Star Wars Discord and Lord of the Rings Discord and all that stuff before it just got to this point where if you don't agree with me, you're a terrible human being, right? You're responsible for all the bad things that ever happened in the world because you don't like what I like in Star Wars. It's insane. So we started writing this story called The Daughter's Revenge. It's a pirate. It's literally a pirate that's like Indiana Jones that goes after religious relics, but in the days of like the golden age of piracy. So it is very therapeutic when like you have and Risk It for the Biscuit, who's in the chat. He actually saw the logo for that book and tattooed it on his arm.
Oh,
that's awesome.
Talk about dedication right there.
And he ain't the only one. There's like 6 people that when we finally revealed it, you know, it was like they went and got a tattoo of it on their arm, on their body. I was like, holy crap. So it's pretty humbling. And but you know, it's like when you're involved in your own creation and stuff, and now looking at Star Wars, you're kind of like, oh man, it's a joke, man. Like look at it with like just laugh at it, you know, like the rest of us are. Yeah. So I recommend that for anyone. If you start to get aggravated or angry at people online or because of the IP, like start creating something, you know, or find a different hobby because it's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's not worth losing your stuff. It's not worth getting all upset. In my opinion, it's not worth it anymore. So
just don't pull the Zack Snyder approach and do something and then send it to Netflix and hope that it will do something and then release a director's cut of said movie like half a year later or 3 or 4 months later. Don't do that.
Yeah. No, I mean, I guess I was still kind of in the grieving process too. I know a lot of people checked out a long time ago about Star Wars, but I think my exit was during Mando season 3. Like Jay knows I'm a huge Mandalorian fan. I love Grogu. I loved all the little stories they gave us with them. For me, it wasn't a big deal if we got involved in like the bigger picture of Star Wars. I just thought their story was super cute. And finally, when they bait and switched it on us in season 3, I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm over it. Yep. And I still want Star Wars content. So I went and picked up a bunch of the books. I'm reading a lot of the Legends books. I'm getting into all that stuff. And that's kind of my comfort right now. And because I want a lot of other new stuff too. I mean, I'm catching up with a lot of things that like you guys are making. Like I've got Jay's book. I'm waiting for his new book. I've got all of like Eric's comic books that I'm following too. Like I've never been a comic book reader and I got into those because they're putting out some really good stories. And with every single one, you just see how they take all their criticisms and they're putting out better stuff every single time. From the time that he released ISOM 1 to Yaira, you can see like a huge difference. And that's kind of the thing that you can see that they listen to the fans. Everyone's always like super cool about it. And no one attacks you. They don't tell you like, shut up, this is my thing. And like, don't tell us like, no, that's good feedback. So yeah, that's kind of my comfort that yes, we're in a space where we have a lot of really amazing creative people. And there's plenty of like Star Wars stuff out there that they can't take away from you, like the books. So you could do that.
They're still out there. They're still out there, even though Disney begs to differ, but still.
Or
there's that freaking helmet again. Ugh.
Yes, and the fact that Hasbro made the helmet to sell it The way I saw that is that, like, didn't they try this with that lame lightsaber?
Yeah,
Reva's lightsaber.
Yes.
They couldn't get it funded. They couldn't even get it funded. That's how bad it was.
Yeah, it's not even out. So
This one's just a pre-order, so they're not going that funded route. So
because they learned their lesson.
I think they learned. I guess
They finally
if you
learned a
buy a
lesson.
pre-order, you're gonna get it. I guess so. It's
Just
$100.
Dr.
Selling a
Rachel.
helmet for
What do you mean?
$100.
That is
Crazy.
crazy.
Oh my
Crazy.
god.
$100 too much.
Explain.
it's just like
Shout out, just talking about you.
Yeah, we were
Speak of
talking
it,
about you.
Rebecca.
How's it going next week? Thanks for coming
Yeah,
through.
he's like,
Wait.
who's talking about me?
I heard my ears were burning, so I decided to come over here. But yeah, no, like as far as you're saying, it's like good content, Lily. That's what we really want. And then obviously what Hasbro was trying to do with the helmet, like, oh, we learned our lesson not to fund or crowdfund the lightsaber. We're just gonna do pre-orders and see how that goes.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't
But
know.
who's gonna buy this helmet? I'm not.
Yeah, I'm not either.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
not my thing.
So this article, I put this in here because I went and, of course, kicked the hornet's nest again on Twitter. Because last week everyone was like, "It's not a Sith. It's not a Sith," and you're just like, "It could be a Knight of Ren or blah blah blah." And I was like, "Okay, whatever." And basically, the actor Manny Jacinto came out and basically told us that yes, it is a Sith. So of course I had to tweet it out, and they're still like, people are still in my comments telling me that I'm wrong, that no, just because we know the information doesn't mean the characters on the show know that information. And I'm just like, I am speechless with all of these people that they constantly like are just moving the goalposts or doing their mental gymnastics, that I can't fight them anymore. I just laugh at them. There's nothing you can tell these people.
I would love to know how they can constantly lie to themselves that they like this stuff, even though they get paid. I don't get how their moral compass works that way. It just boggles my
Because they
mind
get
because
paid.
people. Yeah, they get paid. Well, I answer my own question, but still, I said the same thing about Kenobi because I watched the whole thing because I couldn't believe how bad it was. I was like, I need to watch the whole thing. And when I got to the end of the last episode, when that Pokemon battle between Darth Vader and Kenobi happened, I was like, this is getting ridiculous. And then I saw the reviews like, yeah, he Vader and all that stuff with Race Randolph and all these things. My God, my soul left my body when I saw that. I was like, there's no way people are this stupid. Like you
No, yeah,
can
they
lie
are.
to yourself constantly, but it gets to a point where you even have to ask yourself, like, how in the frick can you lie so much about something you actually don't like, but you have to like?
Because
So,
they get paid.
I don't get it. I just
They
don't
don't
get
get paid. They don't get paid a lot, but like the acolyte people just got ramen noodles, a blanket,
Yeah.
some
Catnip.
stickers. I like saw the pictures online of what they all got, but
Oh.
I think
No merch
what
is
a
worth
lot of
that.
it is, and
Wow.
it's really sad, is that I hate to use the term brainwashing, but it's they have to pick a side that's not wrong, right?
Mhm.
And so if we are being labeled, you're talking about a younger generation, okay, that's being brought up in a school system that is like, if we're being labeled these horrible things, right? Like we're anti this, we're anti that because we don't like a show, then there's a group of these young people that are like, I don't want to be associated with that. So I'm not. So I'm going to be associated with the people that they think are on the right side of history. You can always tell this because they don't really have a good argument for what they enjoy. All it is their argument is, you're a terrible person. Like that's it. Now there are a few that enjoy, I'm sure, and they have good debates, not arguments per se, but it's basically, you see these accounts, they come out, and even in their videos, it's just, don't listen to them. They are this phobe. They're this, they're that. Basically, they're terrible people. You don't want to be associated with terrible people, so don't listen to them. Don't get indoctrinated in what they're trying to say. But at the end of the day, it's and they don't. So they end up in these groups where they think they're doing the right thing, and they never are. So like this whenever you're ready, this Star Wars theory stuff is unbelievable. That this rabbit hole that has been uncovered. So just let me know. Yeah. I keep telling X-Wing, I was like, I love you, brother. They're not worth it. They will never understand what you're trying to say. You come at them with logic, reason, knowledge, and they're just like, yeah, well, you're just a phobe and a this, and that's it. It's like, I'm trying to explain something to you. Like, nope, we've already been told that you're a terrible person, and we're not supposed to listen to you. So we're not going to listen to you. We're gonna shame you.
Well,
it's
isn't that
crazy?
Isn't that basically what Looper did with Gary and Drinker too?
I was just to say,
they basically put out a video that said that. They were like, no, they're just spreading all their bigotry and hatred, and it's like, what? They're just reviewing a show. Like, relax. But I think we should get into the Star Wars.
I was gonna say, and then like also that's happening to our dear friend Star Wars Theory, where he's getting a lot of like the heck of it.
It's insane because they're basically saying, "Oh, you said that," and then on top of that, then he's getting a bunch of death threats. That was insane. Like I'm completely flabbergasted.
You never got a death threat?
Well, yes, but not like that many.
I get them every day. You want me to put something in the group chat that I got like today?
I'm like, let's call these
Jay
people
showing
out.
his DMs.
Let's put it all in DMs. But it's just,
welcome to the new segment.
Welcome to the new segment. How to appropriately do death threats. But it's just absolutely, I think, crazy. And I think the question at that point really becomes the defamation potential claim that he might have. And I'm wondering what Twitter is going to do, if anything, because a lot of the platforms have an anti-harassment, will have an anti-doxing. Supposedly, does it work? No. Do they follow it? No. I would kind of have to look to see if Twitter has it. I know Discord has it. I know when I was attacked and people were like trying to dox me and then come and kill me, Discord did nothing. The police did everything. The police handled it, but Discord did nothing, even though I had proof. So it's scary, and it's for sure. But I think definitely I can see why Star Wars Theory would do a defamation case against them. That I think. I mean, I'm not excited to see it, but I'm always excited when anybody files a lawsuit because I want to read the court documents.
Yeah, and then you have the knowledge in that, Sevvy. So can you kind of tell us a little bit about what kind of process he would have to go through? Does he have to go through and find the owners of Wikipedia, or like how would that come about? Because I know Wikipedia, you can't really just do a name.
Well, it's on the internet, right? So I think there's going to be a couple of questions. First question is, where do you serve papers? Wikipedia probably does have a place of business that they could serve them papers to. So it's not like you have to go against the people themselves specifically. But when you look at Wikipedia, it'll have their registered place of business. Then you have the question of whether or not you want to sue the officers of the business personally as well, individually as well as a corporation. And in order to do that, you will then have to argue that they're basically the same entity as the corporation in order to be able to sue them individually, unless they were bad actors themselves individually, which I don't think that he has proof for that. And then the question at that point, second question is going to be, where do you sue? Do you sue where Wikipedia is established and registered? Do you sue where Star Wars Theory is at? And in order to do that, you have to then determine, do they have, quote, enough connections to the state that you're in? It gets more complicated if you have to sue somebody overseas, because then you have to follow. I think it's I can't remember. I want to say the Geneva Convention. But you have to follow international treaties to serve somebody overseas, so the U.S. has jurisdiction over them. Because I remember when I sued somebody in France, that fucking sucked so much. I spent so much fucking time working on subpoena and getting everything translated to French. So it was a mess, but it's a lot easier. It's more of a cakewalk when you do it here in the US. And at that time, the question really then becomes, do they have enough context with your state? And because they are an international, well, not international, because they are an internet company, Star Wars series might have a good case to argue that it should be in his state. But the question is, which state has better state law for defamation for you? Because they're all different.
Yeah. The thing is that he's in Canada, though, right?
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
in
then
Canada.
he would have to do an international lawsuit for that. Yeah. Which you can still do. He can still 100% grab a person from the US and hold them accountable in Canada. Or file the paperwork here in the US and have jurisdiction be where their registered address is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but
yes, I could summarize this video without you having to play it if you want.
Sure. Break it down for us, Jay.
Basically what happened after episode 4, Theory was on a live stream, and same with X-Wing and everyone else. They were talking about Keanu Monday is what I call the Conehead Jedi, right? And basically saying, they were saying like, hey, he's not even supposed to be alive. Like, why is he in this episode? What is he there for? Like, he's not supposed to know that there is someone with a red lightsaber because he's the guy that said, Sith hasn't been around for 1,000 years. And they were talking about all that stuff. And then while he was talking about it, his whole chat was spamming, saying, go to Wikipedia. They changed it in real time because he had Wikipedia up saying, look, even Wikipedia says he's not alive yet. And then they literally changed it in real time. And so he started laughing like, oh my God, we caught him in real time, right? Never once did he say, or anyone that I know that called this out the same as he did, say, go to Wikipedia and change it and attack them. So then there's a post from Wikipedia that's deleted, basically saying, we never got any death threats until he said something about it and sent all his people over to Wikipedia to try to change it, which there was absolutely no evidence, no proof, no nothing. And that is what that whole video is reacting on. He's like, don't you dare accuse me of like causing harm to people and things like that when you don't have evidence on that. It's like, because I have a business, and if you're gonna like paint me as this, like, then I'll see you in court.
Yep.
And they deleted all that stuff, and other people deleted all these things. Now here's the kicker. The person who started that went by an account called Ash Rendar. I guess it was a girl. And
it was a girl, yeah.
Or it was something. And her initial tweet tagged Star Wars Theory saying, hey, this is your fault. Your people are sending death threats to us and Wikipedia, and you need to call it out. And if you're silent about it, you're the problem, blah, 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 whatever. Theory responds to this account and was like, hey, F off. Like, he was very upset.
Yeah.
And he was like, you don't say that to me, like, because I never sent anyone to anywhere. Like, how dare you say that? I've been bullied my whole life being a Star Wars fan. He does this whole thing. This guy named Pete Feltzer from Around the Galaxy podcast also quote tweeted him and like, Theory, you need to use your platform and call this stuff out. If not, you're just as guilty as anyone. Like, just stupid. You know how they do. They try to control you and say all those things. Well, then Theory makes this video like, I'm going to threaten to sue. So they all delete their stuff. They're like, we don't want to. It was fun when we were fighting. I don't want to get involved. So then this guy, Pete Feltzer from Around the Galaxy podcast, he decided to get some YouTubers together and make a video that's called Star Wars is for Everyone. The cringiest thing in the entire world. Because he's like, we want to promote peace, in the Star Wars fandom. It was god awful. And after that was done, the video started making its traction, right? And there was a person in the Ash Rendar character that was in the video and that started this whole thing, reached out to someone on Twitter in the DMs saying, I'm getting a lot of attention. I think something's going to be found out about me. I got to tell you something, that I'm not really who I've been telling everybody I have been for the past 2 years. I'm not this girl, Ash Rendar. And so the DMs was like, so you catfished everyone in this fandom And she's like, kind of, please don't hate me. Like, I found favorite. Basically, whoever it is made up an account, stole somebody else's identity, admitted it in these DMs, then attacked all these people with this identity, was in all these other people's chat groups, all the stuff. Yeah, this is just level 1, mind you. All right. Yeah, those are some of the DMs. And so this guy was like, man, it's kind of sad because he was like, this was a friend of mine and I got to expose them, right? Instead of like trying to, I guess, talk about it. He screenshots DMs and throws it out there like, this isn't a real person. This person was also in that stupid video. So then all this backlash are like, you didn't vet everyone to put in this video? How dare you? Like, what's wrong with you? How come you didn't vet this person? Well, on top of that, there's a YouTuber named Louise. I have no problem with her. I think she's Australian. She's like a disabled, non-binary. She's every checkbox, right? She loves Star Wars, whatever. She tries to go about saying, hey, we did our best with the video. We're trying to bring peace. She gets attacked by all these trans black Star Wars fans saying you did not even bother to ask one of us to be in the video. So she's getting attacked left and right. Like, you're not really an ally. You're not really on our team. You're not. And she's just like, what? I'm trying to help all this. These people are eating their own and fighting all that stuff. Right. You could take this off because we're not even close. That was just a small icing. Then we get to this guy. These are all the people that went after Star Wars Theory, right? Now they're all fighting with each other. So then we get to this guy named John. He goes, I have a statement to make. He puts it out on social media. I refuse to share the video. And here's why. The guy who was in charge of making the video made alt accounts and attacked me and a female friend of mine for several years, admitted doing it, then unfollowed me. And he is pushing this. Let's call him together BS. He's a terrible person. I'm not going to say his name, but he's the guy who put the thing together. It's freaking Pete from Around the Galaxy podcast, the first person to attack Theory, saying, you need to call out all this negativity and stuff. This guy's like 65 years old, making alt accounts, going around and attacking Star Wars YouTubers that don't agree with him in their YouTube channels, on Twitter, and all that. I mean, the dude's a turd. I've had my own run-ins with him, whatever. And I just kind of block and go. So now people are coming out going, oh, I didn't know that guy was a bad dude. Like, I didn't know. So now he's like in damage control. He's like, okay, it was my fault. Yeah, it wasn't perfect. Blah, blah, blah. And he's deleting everything. So everyone who was in the video deleted it. And then they're all coming out and apologizing that they made it. Then they're like,
because they're scared.
Deleting all their tweets as fast as humanly possible. Doing all this stuff, damage control. Not once going to Star Wars Theory saying, hey, sorry. We called you the bad one. Now look at us. We've got people making false accounts, attacking people. We got these people going on. We've got fake catfish people. We got all this stuff. We're all fighting with each other. And I just sit back and like, what kind of community? Like, why would I want to be a part of that? You know, like, why would I want to be a part of that? So like, after all that's said and done, everyone is just like, they have all like separated themselves from each other, and like all their tweets are like, Star Wars is so mentally exhausting. I'm not going to be on social media for a week while I rest. And then another person was like, I've got to go make medicine or get medicine and see therapy because
I got to get medicine.
One person had like deleted all their tweets and pinned a post basically.
Gotta go make myself right with God.
Like, Star Wars is for everyone, and I'm so sorry I let all of you down. Just block me and hate me if you like. I'm like, it's not that serious.
Yeah.
If this is what's happening to you, if you're having a mental breakdown over freaking Star, this is what I tell my friend X-Wing in the chat. I love it. That's like one of my best dudes. I tell him, if these people are making you angry, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Life is beautiful. Go outside. I'm not saying like the touch grass thing. Man, there's so many things to be thankful for and be beautiful. Like, life is beautiful and have fun and you play games with your friends and all that stuff. There's so much more than these people because this is who they are. They've always been like this. They attack first, play victim later, and nothing that you do is ever good enough. They thought they were something. They came together and made a video. Star Wars is for everybody, and no bigots are welcome in our fandom. They thought they were going to be praised and hailed and lifted high, on some pedestal, and yet they were all ripped down and exposed to be horrible, terrible people. Imagine that.
Yeah.
By their own, not from
Not
me,
surprising.
not from Star Wars Theory, not from anybody else, from their own people that they were all friends with in these group chats. It's insane. And that's that's why I was like, it's not worth it. It ain't worth it. Like, and if you got mental health problems because of Star Wars,
do you seek help?
Listen,
you need
man,
help.
like it
Serious
ain't worth
help.
like it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
Yeah,
Go
this
watch, something else. Like it's just not worth it.
No, it's
It
not.
blows my mind that a 65-year-old makes alt accounts just to like fling shit at people. Like I wish I had that much time.
Right there.
I wish I had that much time. Honestly, I wish I had that much time.
I think all of the drama behind the scenes of the like what's happening on Twitter is probably like crazier than what's actually happening on the Acolyte. Like that was a bigger plot twist than the Acolyte.
It's more entertaining. And if you don't mind, like just to show, I wasn't making this stuff up. If you could share my screen. This is John. He was like, I'm not sharing that video. It was organized by the dude who mocked my co-host for taking time away from TRB due to complications from a life-threatening childbirth. Made it a mission to try to take down our podcast. Like this, and these are all supposed to be in the same fandom together, right?
Yeah.
Among other things, after apologizing for years of disgusting behavior, he proceeded to unfollow us immediately after we declined to participate in his marathon charity stream. Others declined too, but he admitted he didn't unfollow them because they had hundreds of thousands of YouTube subscribers.
Wow.
Of course.
It doesn't stop there. His co-host used a burner account called Steve Palpatine to harass me and my podcast, including the chat during our live shows. We caught him and he admitted everything. So it's insane. And they're all fighting with each other. And it's like, but Star Wars is forever. There's no place for hatred. There's no place for anger. There's no place for it's crazy.
And they're
it's
the
almost
biggest
as cringe. It's almost as cringe as that I take responsibility videos that celebrities did around the Summer of Love. And I thought I couldn't cringe harder than that. That was peak celebrity cringe. Then you have these Star Wars shows coming out, like doing all this heavy shilling, saying like, yeah, Star Wars used to be for everyone. But there was like a video circling around from the late 80s, I think, when Return of the Jedi came out, where like they were interviewing people from all walks of life. There were like black people there, white people, Latinos, you have it. And then you have these people coming out like 30, 40 years later saying, yes, Star Wars is for everyone. Like, yeah, no shit. It always has been. Like, why do you even have to bring this up?
Like, a lot of shows aren't for everyone until they bring an agenda and then destroy the franchise.
Yeah.
It's weird how that works, right?
It's like Chris Gore said, that's like my favorite thing that he said about Star Wars, is it was already for everybody. Why are you trying to turn it into a girl brand?
Exactly.
And now you're excluding people. You're trying to exclude so many people. I mean, I'm a Star Wars fan and I'm a woman and I never had issues with it. Sevvy, I think you're into Star Wars too, right? Like, was there ever a problem with it, with all the stuff that we saw at the beginning? So why would they have to change it and turn it into a girl brand? Like, now, supposedly, this show is made for us, and neither of us like it. So
I don't like it. I
hate it. And then for some reason, they think that what we want is those weird witches and what's his name, Yord?
Like, the Yord Horde.
The Yord Horde. Like, no, thank you. There was nothing wrong with it before. Like, oh my God, these people are just so frustrating. But and then in turn, it's frustrating for like me, at least, whenever I'm seeing all this stuff happen to like people like Star Wars Theory, they're trying to bully him into changing his opinion and his perspective on a show. Like, are you kidding me? And it sucks because he's only one person fighting against all of these weirdos that are constantly quote tweeting him in his replies, telling him that he's wrong, that he has to admit that the show's the best thing ever that he's ever watched, or else they threaten him with a bunch of really atrocious things. Like, I don't know
if he's wrong, why does the Acolyte have 9% in Rotten Tomatoes from normal people? Not just the people that get paid to review.
It's 9% now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did it drop?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
It dropped.
I checked like probably like 20 minutes ago because I went to check.
Oof.
It's 9% right now.
Oh.
So if Star
Yep.
Wars theory is wrong, why is the vast population voting it this way?
The
They're
crazy
clearly
thing-
bigots.
The crazy thing is too, if you go to the official Star Wars Twitter account and just hit the replies and who they're replying to and who they're talking to, it's all those weird accounts that have like all the flags in their bios, the
bots,
pronouns,
yeah.
all
Of
that
course.
stuff, and they
All
they
those-
respond to them, and then they're like, you know, then they'll DM them like, hey, we want to send you a package, you know. So it's like
Ew.
it's just really Lucasfilm is just. I mean, here's the thing. In 2023, Lucasfilm, just think of anybody of us if we ran a company like this. In 2023, the Galactic Star Cruiser got shut down. That was $1 billion loss. That was made not by the Disney park system, but the writers in Lucasfilm. Matt Martin, all of them, they're all part of Lucasfilm. They came in, they put this thing together, then the parks built it on their recommendation. So that failed. The Willow show was $150 million. That was removed off Disney Plus because it was so bad. Like they like how do you remove a show from a streaming service that's already been made? Like that they don't want to be associated with. And that's a Lucasfilm production, Willow. So that's ruined. Indiana Jones came out that year. That's according to the numbers, it's $350 million loss on an Indiana Jones film. How do you do that? Right? This 2023. Mandalorian season 3 came out that year too. Right after the Jack Black episode on Mando 3. I don't know if it's a coincidence. That was the biggest drop in Disney Plus subscribers that they had all year was right after that episode. That's a Lucasfilm production. And it's like, how do you look at that as a business and say everything's fine? Everything's good. Like, yeah, it looks great. We've lost hundreds of, if you count the Star Cruiser, we've lost over $1 billion in 1 year alone for a company. It's like, how do you look at this, everybody over there and say, it's fine. Like, just keep doing what you're doing. Like, I don't know about you, but any company would like say, no, we got to make changes. This isn't right. I didn't even mention the High Republic. The High Republic numbers came out in 2023 as well. And some of those books, it's not me just throwing stuff out there. The numbers are there. They didn't even sell 3,000 copies. Like, how do you have a Star Wars book that doesn't even sell 3,000 copies? When they compared it to the old EU books that were selling in the millions, it's like it's crazy to me. And their comic, don't even get me started. Their comic books are on the bottom level. You could just, all those numbers are online. You could all look them up. It's like, how do you let the same people run the company? You know, like that's what I don't get. But here we are, you know. Yeah. And now they spent almost $200 million on this Acolyte thing, and it's like, what? Like, where did that money go?
Where did it go? I'm not seeing it in the quality of the show in any aspect. So who knows what they're doing with the money? But the crazy thing is that 2023 was an awful year for them. And I saw your video on that. Actually, that's why I was like, tell him, Jay. But yeah. 2023 was an awful year for them, and it seems like they don't even try to fix anything. They're just doubling down. Like, what are they doing with the Rey movie instead of going, you know what, guys, maybe this isn't what we should do because the fans are kind of not feeling it right now. Maybe we should do something else. But no, they're just like shoving this down our throat. They're like, no, we're going to give you the Rey movie, and you guys are going to love it. Like, okay, put it out. I'm just going to make money off Twitter from all of my tweets. So do it.
I mean, I noticed a funny pattern when the Kenobi show came out, because I heard like people ordering back issues from like old EU books, and some of the sales for those books skyrocketed after a while because they just got fed up with what Disney was putting out, and because everything that was decanonized by Disney was more popular. I mean, even that Kenobi book that came out like way before that, right? That was one of the best stories they could have made for Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi. Why did they didn't do it? Because they needed to make sure that Luke gets knocked down a peg again, because Luke is irrelevant at this point. Let's be honest here. And you also have Ewan McGregor, who's not exactly like the smartest guy in the room. Let's just put it that way. If I would have read that script, I would have told him to get out. Like I would have told him to leave the room and rewrite that shit. Because it is embarrassing that they have a character like Kenobi coming out being the dumbass that he is in that show. I mean, if you stand in front of an electric fence, you would think like, yeah, maybe we should walk around it instead of like shooting it or blurting out the name of the girl you're protecting in the show in front of stormtroopers, or pretending to not know who that Anakin was Darth Vader. Spoilers, yeah, that is the point. And then you have like canon breaking stuff that doesn't make any freaking sense. You know, it just boggles my mind that there's people in charge of that company that disrespect like lore that came way before it and actually steal things from certain pieces of media. Like they even stole things from Jedi Fallen Order and put them into the Kenobi show. There was like a shot-for-shot remake of a certain scene in the junkyard that was taken from that game. And then there was like comparison videos made about that too, and it is wild to me.
So what I think is going to happen, budget breakdown explained. Ooh.
I know. I was
ahead.
curious. I was like, where the fuck is this money going? So, Acolyte had, it says a whooping 180 million for 8 episodes. 49.2 million are for pre-production costs. The remaining 130 is for reshoots and post-production. I, of course, can't talk because I'm just going to say I'm Colombian.
That's not an excuse.
So reshoots and post-production, quote, guaranteeing that the final product is the highest standards of quality. Bullshit. Okay, and then they say, like, for reference, New Hope was 11 million. Empire Strikes Back was 30 million. Return of the Jedi was 32. And the act just for 8 episodes, 180 million. That's bullshit. That's so bullshit. I'm assuming that post-production also includes ads. I'm assuming it includes ads.
Mm-hmm.
But that's way too much. Like, why do you have to? I don't know. I'm sure they're not spending that much money, but that's a lot. I mean, Jay, what do you think?
I think from top to bottom, this company has no idea what they're doing. I think even like the spending budgets and everything like that, they have no idea like how to properly do this. When we have other movies and stuff that come out, like I guess Godzilla is a prime example. It was at like $15 million to make. And you know, some of the even like some of the anime projects that Disney has made compared to like the Minion movies and the Shrek films, it's like the Shrek films are like $90 million to make, and the other one, and like Disney movies are like 300 million. It's like something is not adding up unless people at the top are approving these bloated budgets and they're just paying a ton of people that they don't need to be paying. Maybe diversity hires or stuff like that. Like, I don't know, you know, it's insane to me. But I think Kathleen Kennedy and Dave Filoni had a plan that they were going to rewrite the culture of Star Wars. And I think the Rey movie is going to be the start of it all. So all this stuff is just adding to it. And the Rey movie is going to be the new beginning of exactly what they wanted Star Wars to be moving forward. And the Skywalker saga that many people love is, you know, that's just going to be like a side quest in a video game. Yeah. You know, it'll just be like, yeah, that happened, but that was over there, and they didn't really know about the Force, and they only did this, and Jedi are evil, and all that stuff. And in all these shows, you know, like to make the Jedi look stupid and arrogant and push that narrative, like it was kind of in the prequels and all that stuff. She can make a new type of Jedi that is inclusive to everyone, with new kinds of powers that I guess they assume the kids will love, and they can build off that with books and everything. Because you have to understand, like when the Star Cruiser came out, which is like still it blows my mind that they spent so much money on a hotel and they just made something new and they didn't give people what we would love. Like if that was like the Death Star or something like that, like spend the night in the Death Star as a prisoner, and I'm first in line, you know? But it's like, no, we're going to fly on this luxurious hotel. And then how they justify it, they made comic books and they rewrote Han and Leia's love story. So it took place on the Halcyon, Anakin and Padme's story so it could take place on the Star Cruiser. They tried to rewrite Star Wars history to make that relevant. So they thought that like Star Wars fans would be like, oh, see, it's in the book, so it's cool now. Let's go. It didn't work. They did the same thing with Galaxy's Edge. Nobody knows what Batu is. Who wants to go there? I want to go to like Coruscant or Tatooine and like all that stuff. So it's like they made this and then they're like, nobody likes it. So, well, let's rewrite history. So the first book about Galaxy's Edge was when Han came there and did all this cool stuff. And then they had Anakin go there and then they had this person go there and Rey visits there and all that. So they try to make it relevant to fit what they were trying to do. But again, these are people that don't understand what fandom is and what fans are. So they just assume like, well, if it's in one of our books, they'll like it. It's like, no, it doesn't work that way. You have to earn like what we like. You just can't say it's part of canon now or lore, and so we're gonna like it. It just doesn't work like that. But that's what they think, you know. And so, and then when it doesn't work, it's all you guys' fault. You didn't buy the lightsaber, and you didn't go to the hotel, and you're not watching the show, and you're a bad person.
How dare you?
So it's your fault.
Yeah.
Let me get my Kleenex so I can start fake crying.
It's our fault.
Boo-hoo. Play the world's smallest violin for you.
That's kind of what they wanted, though. Didn't Leslie Headland or someone comment on the Acolyte and said that, no, guys, this would be a great starting point if you're a new Star Wars fan, because you don't have to know anything about the lore or the Star Wars that came before it. So yeah, they're already setting it up that this is Star Wars now. Not all the other junk that you guys used to love. This is Star Wars.
It's just like the same as Marvel saying now all the new shit is canon and forget everything else.
Yeah.
Like, that made me so mad because I have a lot of Marvel comics and obviously like I look at it and I'm looking at it. I was like obsessed with like just trying to figure out how everything fit and trying to get the Easter eggs and that they dropped here and there in the movies and the shows and finding the Easter eggs and then talking to everybody who had time and wanted to hear me talk about the Easter eggs that I found and everything. And now they switched everything. And I think like at some point I start to say, none of this makes sense. This doesn't follow canon. And then Marvel came out saying, nope, this is the new canon. Just forget everything else.
Well, it's like me. Like if you're making Star Wars for me, because I'm not a Star Wars buff at all, why is it crappy? Why don't I like it? Yeah. Why is this hotel expensive? I don't want to drink blue milk. Why are you trying to sell it? Why are you trying to sell it to me? So yeah,
how dare you think that way? How dare you?
How dare you?
You're saying you don't want to shill out like $8,000 for 2 nights in a hotel?
Yeah,
I can fly to the US twice.
Like if it was like Jay said, if it was on a see, that's the difference though. That's what Jay's trying to say is that if they had made it like the originals, if you got to spend a night on Tatooine and drink the blue milk, and yes, you go through all that stuff, heck yes, I would spend a whole bunch of money on there to have like Darth Vader come in and like try to capture me or whatever. Duh, that's like that's what everybody wants to see. That's what you want to go to. Not this stuff. You go there and you're like, oh great, it's Kylo Ren.
It's because they don't want to be embarrassed about that. Nobody cares about what they created in that universe. These egos, man, and like they would rather lose millions of billions of dollars than be embarrassed and just say, yeah, well, our stuff sucks. George's creation's better. So they don't want that. So they force you to like their stuff. You go to the theme parks, Nothing of George Lucas stuff is there. I mean, you see the Falcon there, but it's the Solo version from the Solo movie. And it's and the ride is about Solo, the coaxium, right? So it's like it's all their creation that's in there, and they don't want it. It's just weird how they want everyone to forget about a certain point and like forget about all this stuff in the back. Like, don't worry about it. So crazy.
Pretty
It's crazy that they think that way.
But how can you expect your fans to forget why they became fans in the first place? That's just the weird thing to me. It's like, yeah, the sequels are so much better than the OG trilogy and the prequel to no. Oh my gosh, no.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
And you can even tell how bad it is if you watch everything from a timeline perspective. You can even see like how bad it is, and then you get into the original stuff, and then you're like, oh, thank God, right? Because like I did at some point I think like I did a marathon of just starting from timeline from start to finish to kind of get like a perspective on like what did they change, how did they change it, does it make sense? No, it doesn't. It sucks. Originals are way better, but I kind of forced myself to kind of like do it. I don't regret it, but it definitely like helps you have that perspective on it as well.
And it's honestly kind of sad that it has gotten to the point that people just throw out the word bigotry and all that stuff and just can't simply enjoy something anymore, because you always have to view it through the lens of the current day, right? And then you have like these new people coming in, I call them tourists for a good reason, and saying that, yeah, we don't like your kind here anymore. It's like, what do you mean? Like, I thought it was for everybody, but yeah, not for you. And I'm thinking to myself, like, why has it why has it gotten so bad that people have to be divided over this stuff? And I even remember somebody saying the other day that the Acolyte is basically the last Jedi because it divides the fandom even more. And you can see it like in the discourse that you see online. It doesn't matter where you go, like from what side you come from. There's a discourse about like how bad it is, and then as people say like how good it is. But the definition of good is a bit questionable in that case, because I've seen certain TV shows where I'm thinking to myself like, man, if it would have been as bad as the Acolyte, I probably would have stopped watching like after 1 or 2 episodes. It's definitely just like hysterically laughing at it, you know?
I think that's one of the reasons why they prefer releasing Star Wars shows on Disney Plus, because if they could push their messaging in like episode 2 and 3, and then give people an episode where there's lightsaber fighting and people die and all that stuff, and that's the new talking point, right? It's like, how can you hate this series when they gave us all this? It's like, did you just forget about the last episode that's part of this, where they had women like chanting and singing and creating a baby? Like, did you just forget about that? Like,
that's so bad.
Like, how do you forget about that? It's all connected into the same show. If this was released on a movie, by the time we got to that, most people would be disgusted. By the time they got to cool action scenes, it'd be like, man, it's just the movie's already ruined. You guys have all seen films like where it's like, yeah, there's a couple cool scenes in it, but it's like the movie's already ruined for me because they've done this, and this. So that, and I think releasing it on like once a week episodes, it's like, all right, we got our messaging one here, so that's gonna be rough. Everybody, hold on, and then we'll give them something cool, and everybody will talk about it, and the other one will be forgotten. But at least we got it out. You know, it's such a crazy. Hey, I don't know who's doing this, man, and how they think that it's okay.
I don't know.
It's people who think like, oh, since we have money, we'll buy it. We'll get more money because we're buying the fans, and we'll just make whatever they want so we can get more money out of it.
Yeah, people are not stupid. I hope they realize at some point people are not fucking stupid.
No, well I've met some people. People have surprised me before.
I'm like,
some people are stupid.
Generally, they're not that stupid.
You'd be surprised how low people's standards are. Sevvy.
The problem isn't the intelligence of the audience. The problem is in the intelligence of the people making these shows.
Yeah,
That's
I was about to say, I'm like, they're all at Lucasfilm, Sevvy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what really made me facepalm the other day was that when that scene with Smu Ren came out, where he's doing the finger movement and then just pushes that one Jedi away, and then people were saying, "This is the scariest Star Wars episode I've ever seen." I'm like, dude, have you seen the fucking prequels? Like, seriously. I was about to throw my phone against the wall. That's how angry I got. I was like, what in the heck are you talking about?
It's because they don't realize that this stuff is just dumb. I'm sorry.
It is dumb.
If you compare it to like a video game or a cartoon where some of these things have happened, it makes sense because that's animated and it's not real. But then when you're seeing it in live action, like how he just like floated down, can you imagine seeing that in live action? Even if Darth Vader's super scary, seeing him kind of just float down at you like that, like I don't know.
Like Mary Poppins? You mean like Mary Poppins?
So silly. And yeah, I saw that same sentiment. Everybody was like, what are you talking about? This is like the scariest thing I've ever seen. They're like basically making it like a horror movie or whatever. And I'm like, I don't think you guys watch horror movies. Like that's not.
Weren't the same people also scared of that one scene with the Jedi Order when the backstory of Reva was revealed in Kenobi, where they were saying like, oh, this is so similar to Gen 6, you know? And I'm thinking to myself like,
oh my gosh,
what do you mean? Like, what are you talking about? Or like the Imperial flag on that one truck? Like, I thought people were stupid, but that show really revealed to me how stupid people can be sometimes.
And
I have a low bar to clear when it comes to that stuff.
And the bad thing is that the more that you look into the show and the more that you pay attention to it, the worse it gets. Like if you just watch it like the first time and forget about it, you're like, wow, that's really stupid. But then once you start looking into it and you're like, wait, how did that happen? Or how come this happened? Or how are they explaining this? Then your mind just kind of boils into itself because you're like, wow, this is so stupid. Like with the helmet that apparently now they can't read thoughts through the helmets. Mm-hmm. It's made out of this certain substance and it shorts out lightsabers. And I'm like, okay, but how are we supposed to know that? Yeah.
How are we supposed to know this? Right.
How are we supposed to know that? How are we supposed to know that this is a thing? Like you're not explaining it to us. And he can take on all of the Jedi and force push them all back, but all of a sudden he's fighting one at a time and he can't handle that.
Remember, he headbutted a lightsaber and he punched another one to pieces.
The funny Discord now is that he's officially called the Stranger, right? That's his name.
Scary all.
Stranger Danger. And so like now the Discord is he's better than he's more powerful than Kylo Ren. We finally got a better villain than Kylo Ren. And you're just sitting there like Darth Vader, like what?
Okay, Darth Vader, Stranger.
Do they realize that Kylo Ren is a very, very low bar?
Okay, so
what I'm saying is, it's like they were comparing like the worst villains in Star Wars, or like the most powerful, and they were like, it used to be Kylo Ren, now it's the Stranger. It's great. I was like,
that is the lamest thing I've ever heard. It's not intimidating at all. Like it's like what in Glasgow where they had the Willy Wonka experience. Like, oh yeah, just pay this fee and you get to have the whole chocolate factory experience. And they added some character. The character's name was the Unknown, and it's just some person with a mask on. That's not scary. Like, no. I'm sorry, I'm not going to give you my money for something that is supposed to like freak me out. If it's going to freak me out, like I'm scared to death, I better sign a waiver that I'm not going to sue you guys for actually almost dying. That's just me. But yes,
there are a couple of scary places that you can go to that have you sign a waiver that supposedly are the scariest places. I'm gonna send you the link, Nomi, just to see if you will go, because I think there's some in your state.
Somebody's gonna make a movie about that experience. I know it.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I hope so.
It's gonna be like some
change a few names here and there
thing. Yeah,
yeah.
Like drop a name called the Unknown, but
it's gonna be something.
Yes,
that's the most cliche name you can give a bad guy, though. Like,
it
has been done so many times with the Stranger. Like, you have to totally not Gandalf in Rings of Power, right?
Oh yeah,
called the Stranger.
The Stranger.
Yeah. Rings of Power did it first, and I hate to say that, but Rings of Power did do it first. They already got the Stranger. So is this Darth Gandalf?
Oh my god.
So is he a Sith?
It goes back to this whole thing of saying that this guy holding a lightsaber to that girl's head saying, I'm a Sith. And I thought to myself, like, dude, are you really a Sith, or are you de-Sithing or Sithing again? Because it doesn't make any sense, does it? And he was holding the lightsaber like a gun to a head. I was like, I'm just waiting for the photoshops of somebody actually photoshopping a gun into that scene and just saying like, yeah, this happened in Star Wars, or like put a blaster in it. Because it's just stupid. I think Disney doesn't even know like how lightsabers work anymore.
So
like, is that?
Are you ladies gonna get the lightsaber haircut?
Yeah.
No.
I think I'll pass.
Nope, I'm gonna get it.
I've already booked my appointment. I'm gonna go get the lightsaber. It's all the
How about you,
rage
Jay?
Star Wars right now.
You're gonna go get the
I
Reva
got it.
lightsaber.
There you go.
I've actually been growing my hair up for 2 years. I kind of want some locks to look like OSHA. Yeah. But no.
Stunning and
do
brave,
that.
Nomi.
You can't do that, Nomi, because it's cultural appropriation. So
Is it
Everything I want is illegal.
Damn.
Fresh fades. They need to. I was saying like they need to in Galaxy's Edge at the Disney World. They need to open up a barber shop now. You can get your hair cut with lightsabers.
Yeah.
You know, fades
Jedi-
and braids.
Jedi fades.
Hey, that's actually a good name.
Force braids and waves.
That I like that. But you
Just
know
force
what's
choke the hair. Just cut it off.
But you know what's actually like something that I kind of like and I'm anticipating that's actually good stuff that I'm looking forward to is your book, Jay. Actual passion, actual character development, actual passion for something real. So tell us more about your book that's going to be coming up pretty soon, dude.
So we're getting ready to launch part 2, Achromatic Chronicles Green. It's a continued story from there's the first one.
We
Look
got
at that. The it's part 2 of the first one. I didn't know if I was going to be able to finish the series. I just wasn't sure when I launched the first one. I did everything wrong in putting it all together, but I learned so much, but the support was unbelievable. So we're getting ready to do the second one with actually the Rippaverse in their Ripascend part of the company. So they're going to be handling all the orders and shipping and all that stuff, printing and all that. It's pretty cool. So I don't have to worry about it. All I got to do is promote it. But this is this story takes place the same time as Blue with Fortuna, John's close friend. So it's like when you read the book, the timelines are going to be like parallel as to what's happening in the story. I finally got an amazing artist. His name is Eric, and he's going to be finishing out the entire series. The first artist I got, her name was Lily. She was from Hawaii, and she got another job, and she wanted to do the second book, but it would have taken her a lot longer than what I needed. So she was like, all right, well, it was fun, so we left on great terms. And I found a new artist, Eric, who's taking it to a whole new level in my personal opinion. So I just love I love his artwork style. I like that was kind of more what I was looking for than what the first book, but it just captures a lot for me. So I really hope you enjoy it. I'm trying not to sneeze on camera.
Oh, you'll turn off your camera, but not the mic. But it's okay.
I don't care if you hear it, 'cause at least you know what I'm doing. But when you ever see someone sneeze on camera, it's like one of those things.
And you know you're gonna get memed,
I know, so I try to.
Yeah, he already knows.
I try to avoid it as much as possible. But yeah, like and now like because of all the support that I got from the first book, we're gonna finish out all 4. There's 4 books in this story, and the reason why I had to push it back another month is because I asked people, I was like, what kind of add-ons do you want with this? Because I didn't know what I was doing last time, so I just kind of, here's the book. That's literally all, and a sticker. That was about it. And I didn't really have any merch or anything, so we're getting merch done, but also people asked for a activity book, a coloring book to go with it. Yeah. So that took an extra month to once it's done, it's got to go to the printers, and the printers got to check it and all that stuff like that. So make sure it's all that stuff takes time. So we got a 15-page coloring activity book that's going to be sold with Fortuna and John. They're the stars of it, things like that. So it really is a project that when I was a school teacher, I taught, people don't either believe me or no, but I taught 5th grade. And I just was like, even just a few years ago when I was teaching in class, like there was kids like 10, 11 years old that were just, they just were like, I have no purpose or value. And I was like, what does a world look like to someone that's 10 or 11 that they feel at that age, like I have no purpose or value in this world, right?
Yeah.
And I just figured that the world would look gray, nothing exciting. And a lot of people could say that about adults too, I guess. Like if you live in a world like that has like no purpose or value, that your world probably looks really different than somebody who has a purpose or value or living like their dreams and things like that. So I just wanted to put a collection of stories together way back when that maybe a younger reader could read, and there's not going to be any weirdness in it, because also at the time too, when I launched it, there was a lot of
questionable books
that were being put in school. And it's like, no, the kids don't need that stuff. They don't need to be learning about genders in 2nd grade, 3rd grade. I'm sorry if you agree with that. They don't. They really don't. Yeah. They need to learn like fundamentals, and they need to dream and have like and just dream big of like where they see themselves and how they see themselves, that they are important, that they do have value, that that the world needs them right where they are, and that they can be, like we've heard this, so you can be whatever you want to be, right? They just need to dream. They don't dream anymore. It's almost like manufacturing just kids with this horrible education that I was a part of and saw it firsthand. They took away in a lot of schools, and I taught in Florida. They took away art class, they took away shop class, they took away, and for some of those classes, if you were going to take them, you had to pay extra. There's a lot of families that can't even afford that. They got a lot of kids, and it's like, I can't pay an extra so-and-so so my kid could have art class. And as all of us here on the panel, we all know, like, everybody here learns differently. Some people are visual learners. Some people read. Some people need that creativity outlet. Some people like music. Some people like drawing. Some people like building. Some whatever it is. And when you take that away, now you have a, where do they put their creative outlet, right? So it's like, well, then they'll put it in things that they don't need to put it in.
And what I love about that approach that sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you, but what I love about the approach you're taking with these books is that you want to maintain a childish innocence in a way and help them encourage to be more dreaming and dreaming more and actually put themselves out there, right? That's what you want to do. And I think it's pretty good that you approach this book series in a way that you want to take it back to the old times where you didn't have to worry about like these weird things being put into children's books, and especially like the coloring book and all that stuff. It encourages creativity, because ideally we want children to figure out who they are by themselves and encourage them to dream and actually make their lives a little bit more colorful again. You put it quite perfectly when you said that they see everything in gray, because that's how I saw like my childhood. I used to think that I saw everything in color and everything also vibrant, and nowadays as an adult you see everything rather gray because you see how the reality really is. And it's kind of sad that this negativity has gotten over to our children, and that schools are teaching all this weird stuff nowadays, and it really upsets me, and it also scares me a little bit raising children of my own, because ideally I want my kids to have a life where they don't have to worry about this kind of stuff, and actually are encouraged to dream and be themselves for what they actually want to be in the end.
So in this story, each student they stumble upon a color, and the color takes them on an adventure where they find purpose, and then there's a whole like this book kind of like takes a whole twist on things, and you know, and again, for whatever it's worth, I don't think it's like, you know, I'm not writing War and Peace or Game of Thrones or anything, but it's just, I just hope certain people read it and like, this is a safe, fun story that leads young people for their imagination. This is why I like the movie Goonies so much. Not that it was like a Oscar worthy. I mean, I even have it tattooed on my arm. It was like young people that found a treasure map that went on an adventure, right? And things happen. And it's like once we lose that, and I remember like in that movie, there was like a group of adults and they were just like, no, you can't think like that anymore. You can't, it's all too serious now. It's like you can't go on an adventure, like you can't solve the way. It's like, no, man, like we have one life, right? And who wants to live a boring life? Nobody does, really. I get it. Like some people can't afford certain things and some people struggle. We all have ups and downs, but still, you've got to, no matter where you are in life, you got to keep dreaming. You got to have an adventure and you've got to find whatever purpose you think it is. And to me, it always comes back to doing something that helps others. So like whatever you really enjoy doing, and that it can involve other people, I think that's your purpose in life. Like for example, some people are excellent with numbers, right? And they could help people with money or how to like manage stuff with numbers, while some people are very ignorant to that. Some people are good at listening. Some people are good with animals. Some people are good at painting. Some people are good at like, just some people can like go into a room and just see where like you got everything out of order and how I can like put it in, like create this space so much better for you. You don't have to be famous or anything or rich. It's just about something that you're really passionate and that you love, and that you just stand in it and help the people around you with what you're doing. And I think if more people would live that way, the world would be a better place, number one.
100%.
But the other thing is too, is that so many people, and it starts at such a young age, they begin to believe a lie that they were told, that they're not good enough, that they're too old, that they're too young, that they're ugly, that they're this or whatever, you just name it. And when they're told at a young age that they can't, or that they're this, you can't do that because, you can't do that why, you take that lie that was told to you and you believe it, and now it becomes truth to you. So it's not a lie anymore, it becomes the truth in your head, and that holds you back to whatever you were supposed to be doing. Because that's what it's always going to happen. If you have something that you're passionate about, you want to do it, somebody will always say something negative. And it's about taking certain criticisms and being like, okay, that was constructive, I get it. It's taking certain warnings, I get it. And then it's also understanding that some people are just going to lie to you and say, you're not good enough for that, you're not smart enough for that, you have too many problems for that, you have too many this for that, you have too many that for that. But you're like, no, I feel it. Like, this is where I need to go. This is what I need to do. And people will always try to snatch those dreams from you. And if you let them, it becomes a reality in your life. And then like years go by and you live in regret. You start living in regret. You start living in like, you're bitter. Then you get angry. Then you see everybody else doing what they want to do. It's a whole domino effect. And so if we start young people where it's like, okay, you want to be this. Well, here's how you get there. Like, dream big, but yeah, you got to put in the work. You got to do this. You got to do that. Trials are going to come and go. You're going to make mistakes. You know, it's going to hurt. It's going to do this. It's going to be up and like all that stuff. But as long as they're taught how to push through it and hold on to the dream that they're trying to get to, I think that's a good thing, right? Because like we live in a day and age now where people are having mental health breakdowns over Star Wars, you know? And they're not understanding how to push through the different barriers in their life. They just give up. It's just like, well, I probably am not smart enough, so I'm just going to quit. Right. Okay. I don't look like this person, so I'm just going to settle. All right. Well, I don't have a lot of money, so I guess I'll never take that trip I wanted to take. It's like, no, you can't think that way. You've got to see the problem, and they have to be taught. And some of us got to be taught when we're older, you know, to like, this is how I get to this next step. You know, and where I want to be in life. You got one life, man, and it goes by so fast. So fast. Before you blink, it's like, you know, it's like, where the heck? It's already Christmas again. It's already this again. what did I do
Time
this
flies
year?
by
Where did
so
I go?
quickly.
I wanted to do this. I want to do that. And you know, it's like you never want to live your life like that ever. So when I had this suggestion for this book series, you want to know, like, everybody laughed, you know, and it's okay because I'm not known for like the best grammar in the world, you know. So it's like I did everything that I could to do the best I can. Actually, Dr. Rachel was here. She was one of my test readers before it even came out. I was like, give me all your notes. I won. I sent it out to 20 people. It came back. I hired a professional editor. It came back. I hired somebody else to read it and give me points. I mean, I did everything I could to put the best story I could out there. And while taking other people's criticism, and I didn't quit. I just didn't sit there and be like, well, I guess I wasn't never meant to be. So I'm just not going to finish it. It's like, you can't have that attitude. There's too many tools out there for people to excel in what they want to do. And I know that was a long rant. I'm sorry, but when it's all said and done,
it's like, this.
Yeah, no, it's great. And it's funny that you say that you mentioned that because I have a little nephew who's 10 years old. And from the time that he was about 7, he loves the Mandalorian. That's his hero. So what better way to kind of be a Mandalorian? He's telling us since he was 7 that he wants to be an astronaut. And none of us, my sister included, anyone said, no, that's a lot of work. Like, maybe you might want to bring it down a little bit. Or do you realize that you have to be like this amount of smart and this amount of, no, like from this moment, my sister has already been doing her research on all of the qualifications that you need to become an astronaut. And she's already researched it, that they need to be a pilot. They need to know how to swim. They need to know how to go through all these things to go through the training. So she's already kind of sat down with him and had a talk with him and said, okay, she's like, then we're going to do this as a team effort. Like, we're going to help you achieve your dream. This is your goal. And she basically told him it's going to be a lot of work. You're not going to like a lot of it, but you're going to have to put in all of the hard work if this is what you want to do. And this kid is like super smart. He's I can already tell that he loves school. He loves all of these things. And me as his aunt, I want to see him do that. So I'm going to be in his corner, like helping him out too. And he's actually one of the, I had him read your book. I had him read your book. So I actually, that was another question of mine. I want to see if I can get another copy of it because I want him to have his collection so that I can have mine, because I know he's going to try to steal them. He tries to, I let him borrow this one and I had to like take it back from him. So I want him to have his own little collection because I want him to see that. I want him to see how, don't lose hope in all of these things. Like you need to achieve your goals, and it's going to be a lot of work, but that's why you have people around you that are also going to help you. So that's why I'm like, I really want him to read all of your books because they're really good.
when we sell green, blue will also be available, and I think it's going to have a variant cover. Okay. So it'll have a special cover, because I know since that time, and also being a part of, I guess, the Rippaverse, it's going to have a lot of new eyes on it, and people will probably want both. Just to check it out. And on top of that, I don't know if you guys heard, but we are currently in the process, and I'm hoping it will be out this year. The Achromatic Chronicles Blue animation movie is in the works. So that is a huge project with I don't know if I'm allowed to say who the main voice actor is, but you know who he is by, you probably watched some of his work in Star Wars. That's all I can say. So
okay.
I think I know who it is.
It's
we'll
not
just
James. It's a voice actor that was in Star Wars. So that
I think I know who it is, and I'm not going to say it.
But other people are attached to it. You know, Matthew Marsden he wants to see this project work. He's the actor that was in Black Hawk Down, and of course Gina. She wants to have a part in it as well. And there's a lot of other people that, and this is definitely a God thing, not a J thing, because when I go to these cons with Gina, right? Like I work with her, and so I get to meet all these people, and we've all become like great friends. Voice actors from everywhere, some of the other actors, all this stuff like that, and like we've become like really like I've gone to their house now, and like I've traveled to their house and hung out and all that stuff, and you know they heard about this project, and they're just like they want to be involved, and they don't want to be paid for it because they want good stuff out there, and they know that there's not good stuff out there. And so when all this stuff started happening, I was just like, you know, you sit back and you're like, my goodness, man, like it's hard to believe that something that I thought about like 4 years ago is at this place where a teaser trailer should be coming out later this year. And then I think it's going to go to, I think I have to get with the producers, like film festivals and stuff like that first. And then anyway, like one of the person that's going to be in the film has a ginormous voice acting studio in his home. And he's like, let's all record. He goes, I'll save you a lot of money. Just fly all the voice actors over here, and we'll do it at my place. It won't cost you anything. And so all this stuff is just like unfolding. Yeah. All this stuff is the crazy thing is, like, during one of Geeks and Gamers live streams, Tuesday night's main event, and I had mentioned it that we're doing an animation, and someone from a major studio sent me an email, and he says, hey, here's my resume. I've worked on this. He goes, I love you guys, and I would love to be a part of this and put it together for you. And I had the producers, and we all called, and we all talked to each other. And this is the craziest thing. Again, like I said, like, this isn't a Jay thing. This is just, you put your heart out there. And when I was at the Dallas meetup, was anybody here at the Dallas meetup? Oh yeah, Sevvy, you were next to me, right? I was at the Dallas meetup. There was a guy that came, and if he's listening, I love you, man. But there's a guy that came to the meetup to meet me there. He drove 6 hours, and he works for an animation studio. And he just wanted to talk to me for a few minutes about my project and how he wants to be involved and how he would offer his services for hardly anything, because he's tired of the crap that the messaging that they're putting out. And to sit back and be like, wow, here we are. Like, that's incredible to me. You know, like, I'm just Jay. I was a 5th grade school teacher. You know, I lived in Haiti for a few years doing like building homes, like, you know, and like all that stuff. And like, here we are. Like, I never thought in a million years I'd be in this place. And it really has nothing to do with me. I think it's just a collective of people looking at how bad the world is and saying, I want to be with something that's going to bring some positivity in, I guess, maybe. And sometimes the universe just puts it all together, man, you know, and you just have to sit back and just be grateful for where, you know, what's going on. So I'm extremely blessed, you know, extremely blessed.
And I'm glad you're doing this.
Yeah,
Nomi, you're muted.
Oh, thanks. I know I have a bad problem of like not knowing if I'm muted or not. But
oh, sorry, just something super quick. I just put in the chat that if it falls into place like that, I always believe that it's meant to be. You're on the path that you're supposed to be on. Because yeah, I just wanted to say that.
No, and it's true. And I like, with all that you just said, Jay, like, say, what if, like, my thing is like, okay, I don't know the answers, but let's find out. Like, what would be like a good words of encouragement of like, all right, let's find the resources, because I don't know the answer, but let's find somewhere else or someone else who can get us what you want to try to accomplish.
What are some of the,
like, what would you say that? Because and sometimes in the field that I work in, I get questions where I'm like, hey, I don't know the answer. I don't know how. If you want to study, what's the study of rocks? Geology? Not geology. Yeah, geology. Like, okay, I don't know, but let's go talk to someone else who might know the answers. That's something like I want to do too, because I don't want them to like end their imagination of being like a salt miner or something.
So here's the crazy thing. We live in a world that's filled with information, and you can find information anywhere. And Google's a great place to start. And then for me, what's really weird is I purposely start to follow like YouTube channels, Instagram accounts that that talk about stuff that I'm trying to learn. And then you kind of like, it's kind of like eating an apple, right? You eat all the good parts and you spit out the seeds, you know, unless you're a weird person like to eat the seeds. But and so like it kind of starts there, because you'll be shocked at the kind of information that's out there. You'll be shocked that there are people out there that want to see other people exceed in the field that they are exceeding, where they're like, here's a free this, here's a free that, here's a free this. My first when I first started writing this story, I was just watching this person on YouTube, and he goes, if you don't know where to get started in writing a book, here's an outline that I used. It's free. It's in the description. Download it. And that's how I started. And it was just like, jot down your ideas here and this and that. And then, you know, and then you just kind of evolve and go to the next one. I reached out to children's authors, a lot of them, on Instagram and stuff. And I sent them a message, and maybe 1 out of 10 responded, but they responded. And I was just very great. I was like, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. Like, any advice? And they would be like, oh yeah, this is what I did. And they would send me to another place. So if you really are, if you're really serious about what you're trying to do, there is a lot of information out there. You just have to find it. And there's a lot of people that want to see you succeed. The internet is not as bad as it can be. It can be terrible, but it could also be a great place to get you motivated and get you on the right track, you know, on where you need to go. Like I watched like some people, and they were like, make sure you get this attorney, make sure you get this, make sure you get that. And now that I've already done it, I realized I didn't really need this, and this for what I was doing. If I was doing like A, B, and C, then yeah, I needed that. But I just did C, D, E, right? So I just needed that. But it's, you know, it's learning and taking time. I think if you have a dream or a passion about anything, whether it's studying rocks, studying religion, or painting, no matter how busy or crazy your schedule is, if you could just commit 30 minutes to whatever it is, even if it's just listening to a podcast about it, it'll start to happen. I know like somebody that wanted to like learn musical instruments. There's a million free lessons on YouTube. You don't have to pay for it. Like, don't let money like hold you back. There's like, if you need to get an instrument, like there's cheap and sometimes people are giving away because they're moving like musical instruments or stuff, like, you know, pianos, come pick it up because they don't want to take it with them. So it's like, you have to get out there and like try, you know, and see what's out there. You just can't sit around and say, well, I hope. Just make it happen. And I believe it, once you start going down the road you're trying to get to, things just start opening up, you know.
I think like the main thing really is like, you are the only one who's holding you back.
I agreed.
Yeah. So it's for everyone too, because like when I was a kid, I was told, no, you should just be an engineer or be an accountant and don't do anything else, because I was really good with numbers. And I was like, that's not what I want to do. And they pushed back on me so much. And I was like, oh, fuck you. That's not what I'm going to do. But like, literally, if you feel that you are having trouble learning something, you're the only one who's holding you back. If you believe that you can learn, you will learn it.
Well, like when I finished like my first draft, I went to anyone I knew that had reading like that was a little better than, and Dr. Rachel came to mind. Like, I didn't really know her that well, but I reached out. I said, hey, I know you have a doctorate. Can I send you something to look over? And I'll take all your notes. She did that. She took her time. She gave me back a bunch of notes that I put in. And it was because of her and a few others that I sent out that they were like, you know, because originally I was releasing a book, like a novel.
Oh.
And it was like, you know, this would make a great graphic novel. So I said, I took a step back and was like, well, that's going to take like another 2 years. But I took a lot of people's feedback and criticism, like, you know what, maybe you're right. Maybe this would be cooler if we did it in that form. So we did, you know, and I just said, all right, well.
And it's amazing.
Well, I started making a ton of YouTube videos, like, so I can raise money to pay for it. So like that was the other thing too. I was like, how are we gonna sell it? But they're like, if you do Indiegogo, you collect the money first, then you take the money, and then you use that money to send the books out and all that stuff. And then I started listening to I talked to a ton of people that did that, and all of them said a lot about there was a lot of horror stories of people that took money and they never heard of them again, right? Like they never like took the money or whatever it was, like $5 grand, 10 grand. They just took the money and ran, and like everything got dissolved. Nobody knew where they went, whatever. Or like they got a very, very bad product that looked like it was rushed. So I decided, I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get it all done first. I'll pay for it myself. I was still working as an online teacher at the time. So I had, my own money coming in, and everything I did from YouTube, I was paying the artist and editors and stuff like that, printers. So that's what I did first. And then I printed out 20 so I could hold it in my hand. I was like, let me hold it in my hand. So when I sell it, I'll be like, it's already done. So once you buy it, I'm going to ship it out. Like once the campaign's over, I'm going to ship it out. And that's what we did. So because people, I'm not these comic people. These guys are incredible.
Yeah.
Like they're all incredible. Everybody who does that online, whether they make a lot or I'm in awe of how they can do that stuff. That's not who I am. This is not necessarily a comic. It's more like a graphic novel, I'd say. And I am amazed at how these people do this, right? So I knew that I need to do it a little differently, because people are going to know, like, Jay's not a comic book. He doesn't draw comics or do anything like that. I was like, yeah, I know. So let me get the book done. Let me just say, hey, here it is. I opened it up for people to see. I sent it out to a few people to review it first before I even started all that. And I think that there was a lot of people that had a lot of trust in me on that, to know that, okay, he sent it out already. It's already done. It's already this. So I'll support that, and then here we are.
Nice, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If all that made sense.
No, it did make sense.
And I'm not saying you have to do it the same way. If you plan on it like I did, I just felt like that's what I needed to do.
Yeah.
So.
And like Sevvy said, like the first step you have to take is just let go of all that fear. Stop. Don't be in your own way, and just take that step. Because I remember being in Jay's streams with Dr. Rachel too, when Jay would talk about it. So when he finally made the announcement, they're like, guys, here it is. I remember I was like super, super happy, because I was like, oh my gosh, he was always talking about it, and now here it is. So yeah, that's super cool. I'm so happy for you.
Dude, yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. So obviously you guys are going to be following Jay when it does come out, or, we'll see an announcement coming from you, correct? Of like, hey guys, you can officially buy it here now.
That's going to be awesome. Soon. It'll be soon. Like, we're waiting back to hear from the printers about the coloring book and all that. So that's why we should have launched it already. But when I threw it out there and asked what they want, it was like, you got to make a coloring book, man. I'm like, man, I've never done that in my life. Never done that. How do I start that? How do I do that? So I start the process all over. Figuring out, asking people, did you make one? Yeah, this is what we did. This is where we went. All right, putting the pieces together. Finding someone to put it together and all that. It just was, it was something. But we got it done, and now we're just waiting to see how it'll print. Because we're not going to print it on the same paper like that's on the book. It's got to be where you can color it, So it's got to have that, how that works. So. Yeah. All that. So now I pushed everything back about a month. So
okay.
By the end of July, we'll have a launch.
Well, just right around the corner.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get the coloring book. That's the one. I'm so excited about it. Like when I heard you're having the coloring book,
I want the coloring book because I like to color.
Yeah, I love coloring.
I'm so excited for the coloring book.
And then.
I color, I doodle. I'm like very excited. Like that's what I'm gonna do while I'm supposed to be working. I'll just be like, I'm taking notes. Hold on, I need a red pencil. For this.
And then next, we're gonna see fan art coming out for your book, dude.
I have some already. Yeah, it's been pretty awesome.
Well, good. Well, good on you. Because like, if anything, you like, it shows like where your heart is at on wanting to be a shining light with the kids and like inspire them to like go out there, I wouldn't say like figure it out, but like let's make your passion a reality. Let's make your idea come true. So no, it's like.
I think too many people are not living like that, and they're miserable because of it. And then what happens is, as we get older, and I speak from personal experience because I had like I have nothing I haven't shared on my live streams before, but I went through a terrible time about 6-7 years ago in my own life where I thought, all right, well, that's it. I'm just gonna wake up, go to work, and watch TV. And it's like, no, man, God's got so much more for you. Like, stop thinking that way. And it took my brother and to come over and just be like, dude, whatever you're dealing with, you got to snap out of it. Like, cause this ain't you. Like, this is not, this isn't you. Stop. You're starting to believe lies that people are telling you, that you're too this, you're too that, you're whatever, and you can't accomplish this and all that. And the good part of your life is behind you. And we've all, like, if you haven't heard it yet, you will. Like, that's just how it is. Or if you stay on social media long enough, there's always somebody with an opinion that if you're this age, you're not going to do this. So enjoy it now, like whatever it is. And it's people. What happens is you're not living in an enjoyment of your life because you're not living in a purpose. And then you become bitter towards other people that are. And it makes you wonder, why are they so happy? And why am I not? Why do all the good things happen to them and not to me? Well, it's because you're not, it has nothing to do with money. It has everything to do with where you're supposed to be.
You're still on the couch.
I think if you're walking in your purpose, money and all that stuff like starts to, you'll want to like strive harder to get out of debt or do things like that because I want to get here, and it hurts sometimes to get to a different place. Whatever it is, whatever you're trying to do in life, get that 6-pack abs. That's gonna hurt. No pizza for you, Jay. So it's like it's gonna hurt. But if that's where I think I need to go, then it is what it is. You have to go through it. So if I'm trying to get out of debt, I need to find all the information. Like, I got too many credit card bills, right? So let me read up everything I can to get me on the best plan to help me financially get to where I want to be, because I want to travel. I want to see the world. I want to go there. I want to go here. And you don't want to sit back and look at someone's Instagram and go, man, look at their life is so much better than mine. It's all perspective. You never know what's Instagram is, I think, a bigger lie than Twitter, because everybody, including myself,
it is.
You never know if their life
very best, right?
Yeah, you never know if their life is actually even that better. I know my Instagram is full of my cats. Let's be honest, because my cats are really my life. Unless I'm like out there and like doing stuff, usually like it's a lot of pictures. Okay, the cat was like on my face today, and I'm covered in fur, or things like that. But a lot of Instagram posts are there, I think, show. I like you said, like I think they show people in a false light, and they make other people feel badly.
There's a picture of me out there that I put on Instagram. It looks so cool. Half the comments are like, "You got the best life ever." I was like, man, I had like diarrhea during that picture. My stomach was messed up. I was feeling sick. I like had issues going on, but I was like, let me walk out there to take a picture. Hey, it looks good. All right, now we're gonna post it. But my whole life was falling apart, it's like, but people can look at it and go, wow, Jay's life is so perfect. Like, no, it's not, man. I messed up.
I mean, I do the same thing too. It's because Instagram is very curated. Like when I was going through school and like struggling and crying every single night because I hadn't slept, I'm not gonna post that for people, but I posted the end result where I'm like, look guys, I got my degree.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's why I got into cosplay in the first place, is to like put off my dissertation. I'm not going to post pictures of me stressing out, getting 3 hours of sleep every night, working on my doctorate. Heck no, I'm going to post pictures of my art.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
So I got a question for Jay as well. So, what was the biggest fear that you had when you started creating the book? Because I can imagine that there were a lot of thoughts going through your head, like, what if this fails, or if I don't get this out? What? So I was kind of curious about that thought process. Or worries.
There was a lot of fears. Of course, the fear of failure, the fear of putting out an actual like dog crap, thing that nobody liked. There's because no one knew me as like someone that can make a book. That's Jay that talks about Star Wars on YouTube, right? So I think some of the biggest fears, I think the biggest fears is to be laughed at when you've like stayed up for countless nights working on something, and laughing at it like a joke is one thing, and people meme and all that. Like, listen, when I started advertising it, Achromatic Chronicles Blue, and there's like a blue ball, the jokes were flying. Jay's talking about blue balls. I laughed at it. I'm okay with it. I know they weren't attacking. I just know the internet, right? Like, that's fine, all that stuff. But I think like the genuine laughter of like, boy, this guy put all this stuff together, and it's this bad. Like, wow, what an embarrassment. Like that to me was a fear. And I think that's why I took my time to put the very, very best product I had, out there. That was a fear. That was a pretty big fear for that. But it also was around the time where Gina Carano got fired, and she said, we're gonna create our own stuff. Welcome to the rebellion. And that's what kicked off this whole catchphrase. And that's what I've been trying to inspire others. It's like, it's not like a political statement. It's more like we all have fears and we have to rebel against them, So what is your fear? Like, what do you need to rebel against to do, that you have to accomplish in life? So a lot of people are like, oh, he's trying to be political. It's like, it's not, it's a personal thing.
It's not political. Yeah.
It can be, I guess, for some people, but it's just like, it's more of like, we all have fears that we struggle with. Fear of like, what if we go out in public and we wear something that's, like, what are people going to say about me when I go out? Whatever it is. Fear of rejection, fear of this, fear of that. And it's like, we got to rebel against them and just hit it head on. The truth of the matter is that you could be the nicest person in the world and give away money, and people will still find a way to hate you. They just will. And there's no, and we could chase them our entire life to try to get them to like them. And that's pointless, wasted energy. There also will be people that will support your dreams, and that's the circle that you need to begin to create. I tell this story all the time, and it is my favorite, I guess, parable, because it taught me a lot. There's a story about a gardener and a guy who owns a garden. And the gardener went to the guy and he said, you see that? I'm just going to say apple tree. It was like a fig tree. But he's like, see that apple tree out there? It ain't growing any apples. And he goes, so the gardener's like, let me just cut it. The owner says, why don't you just cut it down and throw it away? Like, just get rid of it. And the gardener says, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to dig out the dirt around it. I'm going to replace it with good soil and watch that tree grow. And there's a lot of meaning to that. But for me personally, there was a point in my life where I had to dig out like the bad relationships and stuff that were around me at that certain time, of people that were just not lifting me up when I needed them, I guess you'd say. Like, even before I was on YouTube and stuff. And you have to dig them out of your life. And it's, if you've ever seen someone like try to save a tree and dig around the roots, it is a painful, hard, difficult process. It isn't about like just digging a hole and replacing it. And you watch these people do that. I watched the video of this guy doing it. It took him hours because you had to be careful and dig around the roots, and they're well in there, and get the dirt all the way from underneath the tree, and then replace it with good soil so the tree will start growing again. And it's like, man, so many of us need to apply that to our own life. Like, it's just, there's certain things that we're clinging on to, and it might not even be people. It just could be things that we're addictions and stuff like that. And we have got to, before we can grow into who we need to be, we really got to dig that stuff out and replace it with something else. And when you get to that point in life, you'd be amazed on how fast you flourish and grow, like, and the dreams that you had, and how beautiful life is, you know, and just how awesome it is, and the people that are around you. It's really something. So yeah, that's my sermon for the day. There it is.
Thank you for coming to Jay's TED Talk.
Yeah.
No.
That's
No.
awesome. Thank you so much.
Dude, no, really, Jay, thank you so much for just sharing that, because I think we do need this, because the world is dark and mankind is dark, and we just need to have that glimmer of hope of someone believing in us. Like, we need a song, or in this case, we need a book for the underdogs to, you know, rise up and, like, you know what, I need to go out there. I need to go. Someone said in the chat earlier, touch grace instead of touch grass. I need to go get that for myself, because you're not being kind on yourself you're not being kind to you. You're being too hard, and, you know, you're getting all this negative stuff, the mindset, versus getting up, walking away, and making something for yourself. I love to hear all of this that you're sharing. But I do have a couple of questions, because I know after these questions, we are going to go ahead and head out. One of them is a legit question, is what's the status of the pirate book?
The Daughter's Revenge. That will be right. That will probably drop January 2025. That's my baby. Everybody knows I love I think I'm wearing a pirate shirt. Everybody knows like I love pirates. And that is a book that me and X-Wing wrote. It's basically Indiana Jones is a pirate who goes after religious relics, and it's a trilogy, and we've incorporated real pirates in it. That's not for kids. So yeah, it is. It's gonna be I'm really excited for that book. So once the artist is done with Green, he'll be done this probably mid-month. He's gonna take a month off, and then he's going right into Daughter's Revenge. Oh. And that'll also be a graphic novel trilogy, and that's gonna be awesome. That's gonna be the book, man. That's gonna be awesome,
dude. Yeah. Next year, can't wait. And then here's
that one is I'll show you that is. I don't know if you guys probably haven't, because I haven't. I don't put it out too much, because I just finally got it trademarked, for crying out loud. That ain't cheap. But if you could share my screen, if you could share my screen whenever, there it is. There. So
I like it.
So yeah, that is people ask, that is a crown of thorns. So there's going to be heavy religious. It's a religious story as well, kind of mixed in there. So
cool. Well, I just took a screenshot, and I'm going to go get a tattoo of it right now.
So there's six people have gotten their tattoos. I don't know why they're doing that. One of them's in the chat.
You're a skit, yeah.
There's a girl that's she's getting one too. Her name is Casey. She's been in a lot of Geeks and Gamers chats. They just love this design. So I got to do something special for everyone that's getting a tattoo of that logo.
Oh boy.
So I'm gonna bring them all together for something for part of the promotion.
That's cool.
Ooh, it's free marketing, if anything. But it is a cool design.
That's gonna inspire a lot more tattoos if you say that.
We're doing a lot. Like, you're gonna get like replica pirate money that we've made from the time period in that book. We've got pirate coins. We've got. We're actually making real. There's only gonna be 6 or 7 available. There's gonna be real pirate cutlass swords that are being made by a professional blacksmith. Cool. So first come, first serve. Whoever gets the sword, that probably won't be cheap. But that design you see is gonna be on flags, hats, shirts. It's gonna be really freaking cool. So I'm really looking forward to that drop. So again, that's the fun. Like, I'm having so much fun, and I'm just bringing my friends in, to like, let's do it together, man. Let's sit down and like have some laughs and like, let's do this together. Now, I don't know what I'm doing. I know you don't know what you're doing, and neither do I, but let's just do it. You know, like that's the beauty of it. Thank you.
Go on
Thank
an
you.
adventure together.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Figuring it out with your friends. That's cool.
Yeah, no, it's, I mean, what better way to live life than with friends, right? Like, it's the best way to have your
So
life
awesome.
lived. Dude, and then I have one question here. This is a joke one, but I don't know if it's a serious one in that matter.
My
Could be
cheese,
serious.
Swiss.
Wait, why Swiss?
Swiss.
Of the
I
host.
love Swiss cheese.
Swiss cheese is pretty good.
Swiss and cheddar. That's it. Like I don't really care for too much anything else. Like,
Okay.
I
Pretty
like
good.
cheddar cheese on my hamburgers and Swiss cheese on a plate, like with crackers.
Mm.
Like
Mm.
everything else is like nah. Maybe blue cheese in my salad, but
Mm.
maybe. But Swiss cheese all day, man.
A little controversial.
Oh, yeah.
here.
So Jay likes to have a little charcuterie board here and then.
Oh
So,
yeah, definitely.
Oh my gosh.
Definitely,
Well,
definitely.
dude, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I really appreciate you just like coming and talking about Acolyte and, you know, everything else with
Mhm.
today's current topics of, you know, people are just taking this way too serious with themselves. Like, okay, it's just a lore, guys. Like, yes, it has been impactful in some's lives and it has like a meaning to people. But you don't have to go and be hostile and create this
No.
negative environment versus you over here is like, I just want to write a book about colors and like,
Yeah.
you know, bringing lives. And, you know, I think you're a great light and you're doing a great job in just trying to
Well-
show that and bring people together for this.
Have me back when the book drops. I'd love to come
Yes.
back.
Dude, well, we'll talk more about it. But I know we are going to be cutting this show now. We are coming to the end of it. So, Jay, where can we find you? And where can we see all the news coming up for all the stuff that you're
All
coming out with?
things Drunk 3PO. There it is. My old gamer tag from way back when.
Okay.
Can't believe it's a thing, but there it is.
But now we all know who you are, and we are we are living for whatever you're creating. Now,
Mhm.
yes, I'm looking forward to it.
Thank
I'll
you.
go around the horn. Lily, what do you have going on?
Well, first, I know everybody was wondering if Gina was going to make an appearance on the show today, and I actually am wearing her. So,
There she is.
so there she is for everybody that was wondering.
I think she was watching.
Oh,
Really? Oh, cool.
hey, Gina. But yeah, I'm like, I had to over here. I had to bring her onto the show today. But yeah, no, I'm over there on Twitter too. 300 Mares. I'm every single Tuesday. Just watch for my tweets from the Acolyte. Everything that I'm thinking. I'm starting fires all over the place, and Jay over here. We're just trying to live our lives on Twitter, and all of these weirdos are just kind of everywhere. But yeah, you can find me over there, and anything that I'm gonna be doing, I'll be dropping over there too. And Meneza Español, I'm doing a stream every single week on Wednesdays, so make sure that you're tuning in for that. It's at 4 p.m. Eastern time. So yeah.
Nice. All right, Sevvy, what do you have going on?
Oh, I'm usually left for like very last. I was not prepared. You can find me at Geeks and Gamers Tabletop, Moon School over at YouTube and Kick. Or you can follow my personal Kick and Twitch, which is Sevvy, SEVVY_LUV. Love. That's the same handle for basically everything else except for Twitter, which is Sevvy707. So just give me a follow.
Nice. Love to hear that. Rachel, Dr. Rachel. The Dr.
That's
Rachel.
me. The Dr. Rachel.
Yeah. What's up, girl?
Not much going on right now. Like I said, doing a few art commissions, trying to work on my channel, get some stuff there. So follow me on all the socials, Sauron_cosplay. Please take a look at my art channel, Out of Line Crafting, where the next video will be me making some dragon eggs. I want to do an updated version of the one I made from years ago.
Oh,
Which was this.
oh.
Yeah,
Dude, it looks good.
Amazing.
It's falling apart, so I've learned some lessons about how to make better ones. So that's the latest project I will be working on in the next week. So hopefully that video will be out later next week.
Okay. Looking forward to that one.
Mhm.
Dr. Smu. Wow.
Dr. Smu.
Your names are getting more creative every week. I love it.
What do you have? What's up?
I got not much going on. I'm going to be on Friday Night Tights tomorrow, keeping an eye on the chat, of course. You always find me there. I'm going to be playing Final Fantasy XIV over the weekend because the new expansion Dawn Trail is coming out. And it's going to be in early access at that point. I'm probably going to play it on Sunday, most likely. And Saturday, you will probably see an art stream of sorts. Probably going to be drawing like some anime character or something like that. I'll have to wait and see. But yeah, other than that, just follow me at DJ Smu on Twitter. That's the handle where you usually find me. You're posting the odd meme or just dunking on things or just like throwing my takes out there, even though they're not like exactly like the most popular ones, but that's okay. Yeah, other than that, just follow the lovely ladies on Twix and YouTube and everywhere where they are. And also, massive thank you to Jay for taking his time out of his busy schedule to actually be here today.
That's awesome.
Appreciate it, man.
Dude, yes. Shout out to Jay. And as for me, guys, you can catch me on Twix. I usually tweet where I'm going to be if I'm on a stream. You can always catch me on Mondays with Moonskull playing Call of Cthulhu, Midnight's Edge Espanol, and then Thursdays here on Dames and Dorks. But thank you again to everyone in the chat who was here hanging out with us, the good questions, the good conversations. And Jay, thank you again for hanging out. It was a special treat for you to be with us.
It was a special night.
It was definitely a special night. But thank you, everyone. And then we will see you again next week. Bye. Oh, wait, actually, just kidding. I lied. No stream next week because, freedom. A little something, back 1776, something pretty amazing happened back then. But yes, you'll catch us again next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.